Hello everyone, I'm your friendly neighborhood Menace Bunny. Thank you so much for hopping back into my channel to see what I'm up to. So I would like to first off start by thanking everybody who watched and engaged with my very first reaction video, which was Gaddaar by Bloodywood. Brilliant song. And I'd like to do a quick shout out to my Raj posting fan. Hello, hope you're all doing well. So now that I've listened to the song lots of times, and my brain is finally back in my skull, I thought I would do this post-reaction video because after watching that song for the first time, I think I was so overwhelmed that I couldn't form coherent thoughts. So this is me doing that now. Also, just a disclaimer, this is going to be a rather political video, and even though I am a leftist, I'm not going to take any pot shots at conservatives, because I do recognise that neither side is a monolith and we are not all stereotypes of our political inclinations. And also, just as a side note, I am a sociology major and I heavily believe in citations to say where I got my information from. So where possible, I'll be leaving cards, notes and links about stuff that I talk about. I am a very political person, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge for me not to start like just go straight into a rant, you know, especially since I do have very strong convictions, and most of them I have arrived at after a lot of careful study. But if I do that, this video will go on for way too long and ain't nobody got time for that. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. Okay, so getting into it. Now, the major themes of Gaddaar that I found were hypocritical politicians who don't keep their word, the use of religion in politics, corruption, the illusion of choice, and neutrality no longer being an option. So, like, what this song did for me was give a voice to a quiet rage that I've been feeling about the state of the world for quite some time now. And I think what most hit me in the feels was that as a person from a country which is considered the third world still, so I'm originally from Peru, for those who don't know, and my whole life we've not had one honest, good politician or president. Every single one of them, except for the one who's currently in place now, because he hasn't done anything to warrant it, has been arrested or lived in exile after having essentially stolen money from the people. And, you know, just hearing other people just have that rage and that fire in them about this kind of topic just made me feel less alone in these feelings. And looking at the commentary the last couple of days, it has really dawned on me that you know, there are a lot more people feeling this way in the world than not. Which brings me to my next point, that while the lyrics are India specific, the message is very global. I mean, unfortunately, no country is free from corruption, lies, greed, and just general shitfuckery, you know? Hate to say it, that's how it is. And, you know, look, I'm no expert on the political situation in India, but, you know, from what I do understand, at the moment, what they've got over there is a right-wing Hindu nationalist government, which is led by Modi, who is one of these strong men that archetypes that I was talking about in the reaction video. You know, and while he doesn't present himself as a raging Islamophobe, you know, the policies he has enacted do discriminate against Muslims. I'll leave some videos at this point in the cards They just do such a good job of explaining what's happening over there, better than I ever could, and also for brevity. So if you're interested, please watch. And also, I don't think it's the first time that Bloodywood has kind of touched on, you know, these themes of division and of oppression. So two songs that come to mind are Adi Adi, which is very, like, the message there is that, you know, diversity is a gift, you know, and that, you know, divided, was it undivided we stand together we rule, is one of the lyrics from it. And a brilliant song. Also going to link it up here somewhere. And the other song was Machi Basad. I'm so sorry if I'm ruining that. And even though that song wasn't specifically written about, I think, any Indian politics, it was written for a video game, so I'm not quite sure how this relates, but that song still has quite a few themes relating to, you know, speaking power to injustice, you know, speaking truth to power. So again, link that up there. Now, if you're not a Bloodywood fan, if you've never heard of these songs before, I do highly recommend them. They're fantastic, and they've got that same amazing blend of traditional Indian folk elements and modern metal, just with a little bit of rap, new metal put in there. Just a side note, I do quite like the original context of hip hop, which is, you know, I guess defiant in nature, you know, being put into metal this way, because there's, and this can be a whole other video about genres of music and politics and all the rest of it, but, you know, I think that's a very interesting thing that, you know, metal and rap are both two subversive genres, and they've just blended so well here. Like, Bloodywood's done a wonderful job of blending those two genres. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, so Giant's band, Giant, I'm so sorry, I need to know how it's pronounced better so that I can, yeah, anyway. So he's got another band called The Cosmic Truth, and last year they released a song called Not In My Name. I'm also gonna link it somewhere. And that song was very much about the riots that happened in November or December 2019, where a lot of, you know, well, there was a lot of violence against Muslims. So, you know, it's not the first time that these things have been explored by Bloodywood, but this is, I think, the first time that we've had something that was very, very powerfully said, very explicitly said, and I'm here for it. I love it. So getting back to the whole strongman figure, well, that political archetype, as I said, Modi fits that archetype, but so do other leaders like, you know, Trump, Bolsonaro, Boris Johnson, Putin. Even in Australia, we've got Scott Morrison, who acts like a big bully boy during, you know, question time and the rest of it. Like, he's, you know, he is trying to project that strongman kind of thing. So strongman politics, unfortunately, does have a tendency towards authoritarianism, and that is fundamentally violent. You know, strongman, you know, authoritarian kind of styles also are more likely to, I guess, commit human rights abuses and use fear and division tactics as a way of staying in control. Yeah, these people mainly get in there because, you know, the citizenry is looking for hope. They're looking for some kind of direction, something new, something, just anything that isn't what has not been working before. And I think it's very clear in the case of how Trump was elected to office in 2016. You know, he appealed very much to the disenfranchised non-urban population who had been ignored by other politicians, both, you know, Democrat and Republican, for time immemorial, you know. He got in there. He found his base there, and this base was mainly religious and conservative. And so Trump, he hopped on the God wagon for them votes, and it worked. And now we've got the right-wing evangelical neoconservative movements who have taken his side, and even though he's gone, they're still in power, almost, like not in power, but like they're still in the position to I guess push their own agendas, and this is where the lines between church and state get blurry, you know. So, you know, as a person of faith, I find if politicians using religion to scam people for votes, just absolutely abhorrent. There should always be a separation between church and state. Secularism is the way to go when it comes to that. You know, people should be free to practice their own religion and not impose on the freedoms of others. Because, like, what are we going to end up with? Some kind of, you know, strange Gilead theocracy. You know, it's just there's so much to say there. I'm gonna not for brevity, but I will say that you know, even here in Australia, we're seeing that. Like, Scott Morrison is someone who positions himself as a decent family man who goes to church, and he's often seen, you know, at Hillsong. I believe he's a Pentecostal, but, you know, that shouldn't matter, right? It shouldn't matter. But what does matter is when those kinds of things are being, like, that message is being put out, you know, oh, this man is good because he's devout. But then, you know, when you actually look at the stuff that he does, you can see that he's basically going against everything that, you know, his religion stands for. I guess the best example of this is the whole I stop the boats thing. So under his leadership, you know, he's denied asylum to people displaced by, you know, the wars that his party agreed to enter into, like mainly, you know, the post 9/11 wars in 2001, 2002 onwards. And, you know, Australia was under Howard at that time, who was of the same political party. Again, whole other video, you know. And so basically these asylum seekers who are just looking for a better life are being left to rot in offshore detention centres, you know, and he justifies this by saying that he's protecting Australia. But, I mean, let's be honest, he's committing human rights abuses against mainly Muslim people, definitely brown people, and that's not in line at all with decency or, you know, with being a good Christian. Not only that, so, you know, he's just so full of crap. I mean, if he did really care about protecting Australia, then why did he fuck off to Hawaii when it was burning? You know, like... I will leave my comments there about Scott Morrison. I could rant about him for time immemorial, so I won't. But see, when authoritarianism is on the rise, you cannot stay silent and accept it, right? Like, this is where the themes of, you know, the illusion of choice and neutrality no longer being an option come into play. Okay, so doing nothing is a choice. You know, it's allowing the unacceptable status quo to just continue unchallenged. So, you know, at times like that, there is no fence sitting. You know, you're either a part of the solution or you're part of the problem. That's how it goes. You know, part of the message of this song, though, is also one of fighting back against these oppressive powers, you know, and you do this by being present and not giving up, and always being ready to fight for a more just society, you know. And even if, you know, you have to fight people who you voted in, you know, even if you have to keep them to account, this is something that must be done, you know. And like, often it feels as though, you know, there is an illusion of choice. Like, it doesn't matter, you know, who you vote for or what forms of activism you engage in. And so, like, sometimes you just feel like this futility and hopelessness about everything that's going on, right? But I think at times like that, it's good to remember that so much change has been enacted by ordinary people engaging in extraordinary acts of defiance in the face of tyranny. You know, so all you have to do is look at examples like the ending of apartheid in South Africa, look at the Black Lives Matter movement of 2020, and look at the climate justice movement that has been going on for a very long time, but is still enduring and is still going strong. You know, change takes time. These lifelong institutions and lifelong, you know, systems that have been solidly in place for a lot of time are not going to crumble overnight. They are going to crumble over many years and over a lot of hard work and a lot of, you know, a lot of push and challenge. So I'll just end by saying that the overall message of this song, you know, fills me with like a kind of fire. It's lyrically powerful, and I think it's wonderfully composed. It's just so very empowering. And I cannot wait for the full album to drop. I believe it's going to be in February. So I'm really excited about that. And if you've made it this far, I'd just like to finish off by saying, please stay safe, walk gently, and see you next time.